Mrs. Whitebriar. I'm Carol Moore and a retired educator, but we teachers never stop teaching. So here on Camp with Mrs. Whitebriar, we have what's called our Ben Franklin Stamp Club. And the first thing we do is bang our gavel to open the Ben Franklin Stamp Club. Why is it called Ben Franklin? Because Ben Franklin, as you can see here, is our sculpture. Ben Franklin was the very first postmaster in the United States, and we honor him because he thought it was a really good idea if you could pay somebody a half a penny and have them deliver the mail across the town, across the country, and eventually, when airmail came in, across the world. So the Ben Franklin Stamp Club is an interactive show here as a part of Camp with Mrs. Whitebriar. And if you send me a self-addressed stamped envelope, we will mail you a sheet just like this, which will give you a place to put all of your different stamps. And if you don't have stamps, we'll give you some. So what we have here, we'll give you a whole pile. Some of these stamps are 1940s stamps. Some of them are local stamps. Some of them are around the world stamps. But they're all free for you just by writing us here at Radio Vision Network, 100 Pike Road in Mount Laurel, New Jersey, and we'll send these out. Now, when you get your sheet, send it to work with Mommy or Daddy and have them make 20 copies, and that will allow you to organize. You can organize all the flowers on one sheet, all the people on one sheet, all the fancy buildings on another sheet, so that you will be starting your Ben Franklin Stamp Club book. This is a hobby for children of all ages, for adults, as well as 3-year-olds. Today we're talking about food, and the food that is on stamps. And this is some of the selection of stamps that have food. I know there's a beautiful picture of a corn on the cob, which right now that is our season here in New Jersey. We're just eating the last of the corn on the cob. Another couple of weeks it's going to be done for the season. And it's funny because I grew up on a farm and we never picked our corn until we turned the water on to boil. So we'd fill a pot of water, put it on the stove, turn on the heat, and then we'd run down the field and rip off a couple of ears of corn and shuck them and bring them back and cook them. And that's the only way. That's really fresh food. So some of the stamps that they've done about food, one is the corn on the cob, one is wheat. Wheat is the basis for our bread and grain. And also strawberries. There's an apple. Our grandmothers knew an apple a day keeps the doctor away, and that's truly the fact. If you eat an apple every single day, it does a lot of medicinal things, takes a lot of negatives out of your body, takes away pain, turns on your immune system, kills cancer cells, all with a simple apple. So the stamp was to commemorate the apple. We also have blueberries on a stamp here, along with raspberries and blackberries. Now, raspberries are what we see more commonly in the grocery store, but the blackberry, being black in color as opposed to red in color like the red raspberry, the darker the fruit always has more medicinal properties. So you want to eat the fruit and the vegetables that are as dark in color as possible. We also have a stamp here for oranges. Oranges don't grow in New Jersey because we have too cold winters, but oranges grow down in Florida, and Florida is where we have one of our big orange crops. California is another one. There's also, let's see, nuts. We have wonderful pecan nuts that are available here in New Jersey. Pineapples don't grow in New Jersey, but Hawaii, they do because of the warmer climate. And of course, this time of the year, you might see a lot of peppers, and there is a stamp commemorating peppers. We have hot peppers in tall and skinny, long and fat, or also round, any kind of hot peppers. And we also have sweet peppers, also known bell peppers. And those can come in green, yellow, orange, or red. Now, what is a red pepper? A red pepper is not a hot pepper. A red pepper is just a green pepper that was left on the vine an extra month, and then it turns red. So a green pepper and a red pepper are exactly the same plant. A green pepper is younger than a red pepper. And because it's younger, it has not absorbed as much nutrition as the red pepper, which has a longer growing season. So those are some of the stamps that we have here in our Ben Franklin Stamp Club. And we welcome you to send in your self-addressed stamped envelope, and we'll mail you some and get you started collecting stamps with the Ben Franklin Stamp Club. So that's it for today. We'll see you next time at the Ben Franklin Stamp Club here at Radio Vision Network. Tune in. We'll be back with some good food for you kids to make here on Radio Vision Network, Camp with Mrs. Whitebriar.
Sub some sizzle. This is the way. The way it's always been. The way it always should be. The way it always will be. Because that's just the way it's supposed to be. Jersey Mike's. Be a sub above.
Simply Gents, located in Marlton, New Jersey, takes care of all your grooming needs, including haircuts, straight razor shaves, massages, facial, manicures, pedicures, and waxing. To find more information or book an appointment, visit us online at www.simplygents.com. The secret weapon of a well-groomed man, Simply Gents.
If you haven't been to Speed Raceway, what are you waiting for? You want to live fast? You want to make every second count? Then grab the family. Round up the guys. Speed Raceway is 100,000 square feet of excitement, whether you're a kid or a kid at heart. Speed Raceway is the place for endless fun all summer long. Log on to speedraceway.com or just get here now.
When it's time for Jersey Mike's to make a really great sub, this is what we do. It's what we've been doing. It's what we've always done. It's what we'll always do. So what are you doing? Jersey Mike's. Be a sub above.
Today's show was brought to you by Alicia Kelly of White Horse RV Center in Williamstown, New Jersey. Alicia is your RV expert. Contact Alicia at whitehorserv.com or give her a call at 856-262-1717, extension 203. When you think of RV, think Alicia Kelly.
Today's show has been sponsored by Farmers Insurance in Voorhees, New Jersey. To protect your assets and the people you love, call Mike Skoranek, your local Farmers Insurance agent, at 856-336-2553.
We are farmers. Bum, ba-dum, bum, 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 bum.
And we're back with Radio Vision Network, Camp with Mrs. Whitebriar. And this is our food segment, and we're talking about canning food. No, not this kind of a can. We're not talking about a metal can. What we're talking about are jars, putting things in jars. And we have a very easy canning method, and we put it in the jars when it's very, very hot. And then we close the lid. And by putting it in the jar when it's hot, no bacteria can get in to make it go rotten. And then we boil it in hot water. There are many different types of canning jars. This is the larger size. This is the quart. And this is the quart, the pint. And this is the half pint. And this is usually called a jelly jar. Okay? And, but you don't have to go buy jars. You can use any jar that has inside of it a rubber lid. You're going to see around the inside of the jar a rubber lid. Now that rubber lid will seal the jar. Again, you put hot food into the jar and quickly put the lid on and tighten it up All right. And then we have a process that is called for boiling water. And we put this basket in a great big pot of water, and we turn the heat up and we let it boil. Now, by it boiling, what it's doing is killing any germs, and it's sucking the lid in to make a firm seal. Now, you have to be very careful. Kids can't do this. Moms and dads have to do this. And what you do with this tool, it looks like a little pair of tweezers, but it's a big one. And what it is, it has rubber here. And you can pick up hot jars like that so that you don't burn your fingers. Now, I'm even smarter than that. I don't even use this. I let my jars cool off right there in the canner. Remember, this whole basket would go deep inside a pot of water, and then it would be boiling. And what kind of food can you preserve and can? Remember, we're not talking about a metal can. We're talking about canning in jars. You can take apples and cook them until they're soft and mushy, and then make apple sauce. You can take carrots, okay, and scrape them off so they're nice and clean, slice them up, boil them until they're almost tender, and while they're still very, very hot, put them in the jar. You can also take potatoes, and this is kind of cool because this is, look at that, 3 different colors of potatoes. We have a black, well, it's kind of purpley black potato. You have a red skin potato, which has been around a long time, and your domesticated white skin potato, which is also the traditional one people are using these days. These are small potatoes that you can just cook, chop up very slightly, boil them in water, cook them till they're almost done, and then put them in a jar, and they will be saved forever. Now, why do we put them in the jar? When they're hot but not totally finished cooking, because when they are in the canner, which is what this is called, they will be cooking even more, and we don't want them to be mushy. We want them to have the nice texture, and so that's how we preserve food here. It's the end of September here in New Jersey, and everything is being harvested. So if you find a basket of tomatoes that's very reasonable, now's your time to buy it. Cook it up in a pot, get it really, really hot, put it in the jar while it's hot, and then process it in a boiling water bath. That's what this is called, a hot water boiling water bath. And that will stay on your shelf for years and years and years. As a matter of fact, the Amish people and a lot of people under biblical terms always save 7 years worth of food, referencing the historic blights that happened during the biblical times when people had no food and were starving. This way people always have food. Does not need to have the refrigerator on, does not need to have the freezer on. Canning food is a very economical way. Once you have the jars are in essence an expense that you'll have one time only. Once you bought your jars, you use them every year. So for Radio Vision Network and our food segment here at Camp with Mrs. Whitebriar, tune in next time and see what we're doing with food. But come on back, because we have a craft, a recycle craft we're going to do right after this commercial.
Today's show is sponsored by Hargrove Demolition, your demolition experts. Hargrove is a family-owned and operated business right here in the southern New Jersey area, bringing you 45 years of demolition expertise. Hargrove has all your demolition needs, from emergency demolition service to demolition equipment rental. Hargrove is one of the state-approved recycling facilities right here in the southern New Jersey area. No job is too big or too small for Hargrove Demolition. Contact them today at one of their 3 locations.
When it's time for Jersey Mike's to give a sub some sizzle, this is the way. The way it's always been. The way it always should be. The way it always will be. Because that's just the way it's supposed to be. Jersey Mike's. Be a sub above.
If you haven't been to Speed Raceway, what are you waiting for? You want to live fast? You want to make every second count? Then grab the family. Round up the guys. Speed Raceway is 100,000 square feet of excitement, whether you're a kid or a kid at heart. Speed Raceway is the place for endless fun all summer long. Log on to speedraceway.com or just get here now.
When we make Beyond Natural dry dog and cat foods, we start with real meat as the first ingredient. We leave out corn, wheat, and soy. And we own where our dry food is made. 100%. Can other brands say all that? For nutrition you can trust and your pet will enjoy. Does your food go beyond? Learn more at purinabeyond.com.
Extra Innings is the nation's premier indoor baseball and softball training center, featuring indoor batting cages, 7 multi-use tunnels, and training rooms. Extra Innings can provide professional instruction, private and group lessons, and the best year-round clinics. Along with a nationally recognized pro shop that features the latest and widest selection of equipment and apparel, our experienced staff can provide you with the right instruction and help you find the best equipment for your ability and budget. Extra Innings, where the game never ends.
Today's show has been sponsored by More Than Gifts. Come see our new location in Marlton, New Jersey. Not just gifts, but more.
And we're back with Radio Vision Network, Camp with Mrs. Whitebriar. I'm Carol Moore, and today we're going to show you a project that you can do at home with some things I'm sure you have around the house. This is our Recycle, Reuse, and Don't Waste segment. Now, all of you know this is a 6-pack carrier. It could come with beer, it could come with soda, it could come with other soft drinks. This one happens to be a Coca-Cola box. And what we're going to do is we're going to take some tape and we're going to make it a little stronger than it already is. I'm putting a piece of tape at the ends. And then I'm going to go to a magazine that I like, possibly a calendar has good pictures, and I'm going to take that same piece of tape and I'm going to roll it up and put it behind my picture, and I'm going to cover this entire container with pictures that I like. Now this is a picture of kids playing in the snow, so that's a good picture. All right. Now on the other side, I'm going to have something a little different. It's going to have flowers, and I like fancy buildings. So I found a magazine that had some beautiful castles in it, and I'm going to cover that on the end. Now I'm only taping them on this way so that it holds them while I do the rest of the project. So it doesn't quite matter if it's exactly straight now. All I'm doing is holding it on there all right. So now I'm going to take again my tape and any part of the edges that fold over, and I'm going to put a piece of tape to hold it down. All right. And so this one needs another piece of tape. Yeah, I use a lot of tape in my business, and I always am tearing it with my teeth. You could use scissors, but I find my teeth are a lot faster. And now I'm going to tape the bottom down. All right. So I have one side finished. Going to go to the other side. This is my side that has flowers on it. All right. And again, these are pictures from magazines. You could use birthday cards. Wouldn't that be nifty to make a present out of birthday cards? and then give it to someone on their birthday with all their birthday cards on it. One more here to hold this side down. All right, and then what I'm going to do is trim it just enough so that there's no rough edges. See, now I can turn this down. And again, some more tape. But I'm not finished, because what I want to do is I want to make this so it doesn't ever fall apart. So I'm going to put tape on every loose part all the way around. Again, I'm going to be trimming here. This is a picture that's overlapping. So I'm just going to cut a little down, make a tab, and then fold it over. All right? Now, my producer's daughters are each going to get one of these because I give them stuff every week. And today I brought them bagel chips, so they better eat those bagel chips. And they'll also have one of these boxes that they can keep their stuff in their room. Now, I got a corner here that's still showing up, and I want to put another picture on it, but I don't have one small enough, so I'm just putting tape on it. Now, once you have it decorated exactly how you like it, okay, then what I want you to do is take this big tape, and I get this tape in the dollar store, and it's a whole big roll for $1. And what I do is I go all the way around, and this tape is acting like strengthening our box, but also making all of the pictures waterproof, so that if it gets rained on, not that it should, but if it did get rained on, it would still not fall apart, and it would be very stable because it's getting all this tape to hold it in place. One more piece to go around the top. And I do like my masking tape. I do like my clear tape. I use it all the time. Putting labels on food in my restaurant. And remember, all of this is holding it down in place so that nothing moves. And what are you going to do with it after you get it all taped up and secure? Here's another one I made. Well, you can put a ribbon in it. You can use it to hold your scissors. You can put a tablet in it. Wait a minute. I put a tablet somewhere. Let's see where I can put. Oh, there's a tablet. Tablet's in there. Candles in case you ever have a fuse blow out. And a stack of pencils. And you can put your Scotch tape in there too. Whoops, guess that one won't fit. And so that is our craft project for today. I hope you'll try and make something out of something and make something new. Take something and reuse it. Don't throw it away. Look at it before you put it in the trash can and say, what can I do about that? Could I organize my bureau? Could I put all my jewelry in one corner? Could I put all my socks in another corner? Anything you can reuse and recycle keeps it out of the landfills and makes our whole world a lot better. So that's it today for Radio Vision Network for the craft segment. Don't go away because we're talking goats in the next segment. Yes, G-O-A-T-S, little baby goats with horns, with legs, with tails. And we were hoping to have one as our guest today, but she didn't get born on time, so we'll have to have her next week. All right, stay tuned. We'll be right back with Radio Vision Network, Camp with Mrs. Whitebriar.
When it's time for Jersey Mike's to give a sub some sizzle, this is the way. The way it's always been. The way it always should be. The way it always will be. because that's just the way it's supposed to be. Jersey Mike's. Be a sub above.
Simply Gents, located in Marlton, New Jersey, takes care of all your grooming needs, including haircuts, straight razor shaves, massages, facial, manicures, pedicures, and waxing. To find more information or book an appointment, visit us online at www.simplygents.com. The secret weapon of a well-groomed man, Simply Gents.
If you haven't been to Speed Raceway, what are you waiting for? You want to live fast? You want to make every second count? Then grab the family. Round up the guys. Speed Raceway is 100,000 square feet of excitement, whether you're a kid or a kid at heart. Speed Raceway is the place for endless fun all summer long. Log on to speedraceway.com or just get here now.
When it's time for Jersey Mike's to make a really great sub, this is what we do. It's what we've been doing. It's what we've always done. It's what we'll always do. So what are you doing? Jersey Mike's. Be a sub above.
Today's show was brought to you by Alicia Kelly of White Horse RV Center in Williamstown, New Jersey. Alicia is your RV expert. Contact Alicia at whitehorserv.com or give her a call at 856-262-1717, extension 203. When you think of RV, think Alicia Kelly.
Today's show has been sponsored by Farmers Insurance in Voorhees, New Jersey. To protect your assets and the people you love, call Mike Skoranek, your local Farmers Insurance agent, at 856-336-2553.
We are farmers. Bum, ba-dum, bum, 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 bum.
Home for wayward farm animals. These are animals that people buy when they're cute and cuddly and small, and when the animal gets large and stinky and big, they don't know what to do with it, so they bring them to Moore's Home for Wayward Farm Animals in Edgewater Park, New Jersey. We've been doing this for over 45 years, and we have some wonderful animals who have come to live with us, and they live with us until they die of natural causes at the end of their life. And today we're talking about goats. Now, I was hoping to have a goat to bring on the show today, but unfortunately she wasn't born until yesterday, and I can't take her away from her mother this early to bring her on the show. But she will be coming eventually. Let's learn a little bit about goats. Domesticated goats are the ones who live in your backyard. Victorian children always had a goat. Number one, they had a goat for milk. Goat's milk was very easy for children to drink, because if you had a cow, you had to have a whole bunch of land for the cow to graze on. But a goat makes milk no matter what. If you keep it in a barn and just give it hay and water every day, or if you let it roam around your yard like we do and let them eat the grass. And that's a domesticated goat. And they all came from the wild goats. The wild goats were in South Africa and Eastern Europe, and they had ranged there wild, and they were a food source for the people in those cultures. Goats fall in the antelope family, and believe it or not, to this day there are over 300 kinds of goats. That means the breed species. Some of them have ears that stand up. Some of them have floppy ears that fall down. And some of them have horns and some of them don't. And they all have a beard. Now let's talk about the horns and the beard. Some people think that only billy goats, a billy goat is the name for a boy goat. A nanny goat is the name for a girl goat. Some people think that only the boys have horns and that only the boys have beards. No, in the goat family, the females have horns and the females have horns and beards as well as the male goats. But sometimes, out of a fluke of nature, a goat will have no horns. They have ears, but they don't have horns. Okay? There's one particular kind of goat which has gotten a lot of notoriety later, and that's called a fainting goat. Goats are known for being very strong and very strong-willed, but these particular breed of goats, when they get nervous or when someone shocks them, meaning claps their hands real loud and startles them, they stiffen up and freeze, and then they fall down as hard as a brick. It's called a fainting goat. Goats were first domesticated animals 10,000 years ago. And goats are used for milk, as we talked about. It was easy to have a goat. They didn't need a whole lot of nutrition to make a really good quality milk. And a lot of children who are allergic to cow's milk can drink goat's milk without having a negative reaction. But goats are also used for meat. Because they were from the African and Eastern European areas where they couldn't raise cattle because there was not enough grass, it was mostly desert, goats were used as a meat source. So they would have a goat steak or a goat roast, and they still eat goat today. Every part of an animal that is used is a way to prove that you're not wasting anything. So the hair on the goat, the skin, is used as goat skins. The bones and the horns are used for medicinal properties as well as for food industry. The skin is also used, and the sinew, which is the hard, rough parts of the muscle that are very, very strong. They're used for bow strings and for instrument strings. It's called sinew, and it's a very, very strong. Perhaps if you had a piece of chicken, a chicken leg, and you noticed there was some really, really stringy, tough part, that would be the sinew. They love to live in high altitudes, and they love to live in deserts. Remember, we said they didn't need a lot of grass like a cow, who would have to graze for hours and hours and hours to fill his stomach. They mostly were raised in Turkey and Iran, according to Wikipedia. Thank you, Wikipedia. And it goes back to, in America, into the 16th century. That's the 1600s. When the Spanish brought the goats here. One of the problems that goats did cause, when sailors were on long voyages, they would leave a couple goats on an island so that next time they came past that way, they would have plenty of goat meat to eat while they were visiting that island. Well, unfortunately, the sailors did not always get back to that island, and the goats multiplied. They had babies, and their babies had babies, and their babies' babies had babies, and they had so many goats on the island, and the goats loved to eat bushes and trees. And these goats actually denuded the island. The word denuded means they ate all the leaves and all the trees and all the bushes, so that it was almost a desert when they came back. One of the breeds that is popular in America today is the La Mancha, and that's a dairy cow. In order for a dairy goat, not a dairy cow, a dairy goat, in order for her to give milk, she has to have a baby. And when the baby doesn't drink all the milk, you can take away the rest of the milk and use it for yogurt, goat cheese, and many, many things that are nutritious and delicious. And that La Mancha breed of goat is the longest one that's been here in America. But in 1904, the Swedes invented another goat, a Saven, S-A-A-V-E-N. That's a Swiss goat, which we make Swiss cheese from. And in the 1930s, we had a tremendous increase in the goat population because there were a lot of allergies, and people found out that if you had a milk allergy, yes, you could drink goat milk. And in the 1970s, we came back to another back to earth type of primitive movement with the hippies. I lived during that segment, and everybody was drinking goat milk at that time. In the 1980s, we went to the gourmet rich people who were going to eat the goat soft cheeses, which are very, very expensive and not to be given to infants and small children. As of 2013 census, there are 360,000 heads of goat in America. And of course, the biggest thing they're used for now is ice cream and yogurt and the goat milk soap and goat milk moisturizer. So now you learned a little bit about our goat, who was just born to our family, and our cute little boy, he will be called a billy goat because he's a boy goat. His mother, a female, is a nanny goat, but our little billy goat was born 2 days ago, and eventually, when he can be weaned from his mom, we'll bring him in on the TV show. You've seen some pictures of him and his family. They're all here on our farm here in Edgewater Park. It's a home for wayward farm animals here at Whitebriar, and we welcome you to stop by anytime and let us give you a tour. This is Carol Moore for Camp with Mrs. Whitebriar, Radio Vision Network. We thank you for tuning in today. We'll see you next time with some more interesting things for the kids here at Camp with Mrs. Whitebriar. See you next time.